Hey, friends, how you doing today? Pastor David here. I'm just reading up on our story for today on our lesson about Jesus calling the disciples, calling him to walk with him, to follow him, to be a part of his life, and the great things he is doing. And I'm sitting here wondering, I wonder if maybe, if Jesus would call me. That'd be pretty cool if he did. I don't. Do you, do you, do you think that might be him? Hello? So the thing is, Jesus doesn't call us on the telephone. We can't pick up our phone and expect to find Jesus on the end, whether we got one of these great little toy phones or a fancy cell phone. Jesus doesn't call us on the phone. He doesn't write us a letter. He calls us through the Bible. Martin Luther taught us that God's Spirit calls us through the gospel. And what he meant by that is that as we read the Bible, as we listen to the story of God's love in Jesus, as we read that, as we learn it, it is through that Jesus calls to us. And when we say call, again, we don't mean that he calls us on the telephone. Rather, he calls us or speaks to us through the words that we have in our Bibles. And it is in hearing those words, in reading those words, that we begin to understand what Jesus wants us to do in this world and in this life. Listening and reading about Jesus' life and the wonderful things he did leads us through the Holy Spirit to want to be a part of that, to love one another, to be generous and kind, to serve each other, and to be good and faithful disciples. In the Bible story, Jesus is out walking along and he sees these men that he's going to have to be his disciples. And he calls out to them and says, hey, follow me. Come be a part of what I'm doing here. In the very same way as we read Bible, we hear those words, we read those words saying, come follow me. That's how Jesus calls to us. Through the word itself, not by phones, not by letters, not knocking on the door and saying, hey, he doesn't send us telegrams or telegraphs or emails or messenger. Right? He speaks to us through the written word and through the preaching by priests and pastors like myself, through teaching in Sunday school. Right? That's how Jesus calls us. Not on the phone, but through the Bible. Right here. This is how Jesus calls. And if we want to answer, we need to be reading this and learning about Jesus' life and all the wonderful things he did. And we'll learn more about that in the weeks to come, about how Jesus healed people who were sick, how he made them better, how he taught people and showed people what it means to be kind and loving. And as the people, not just the 12 disciples, but all the people who met Jesus in the world, they listened to what he had to say. And those words inspired them and led them to follow Jesus and to live as he would like us to do so. And the truth is, Jesus calls you, he calls me, he calls everyone who is willing to listen and hear and to read and learn about his life. So Jesus calls you. And if you want to answer, don't pick up the phone. Don't open the door. Pick this up, open it, learn it, and read it. Because you too are called by God to be a person of love, a person of kindness, a person who walks through this world much like Jesus did, shining your light for all to see. So, friends, may you answer Jesus' call. May you be loving and know that you are loved. We'll see you next week. Have a great day. Miss you. Love you. Be well.